Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us here today. First, I'd like to make some introductions of the gentlemen that are standing here with me. Bruce Harvin is our Coordinator of Operations for the Clay County School District. Standing next to him is Mr. John Ward, who is our Deputy Director of Emergency Management for Clay County. Chief Goebel, Orange Park Police Department. Lieutenant Wagner, Clay County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Smith, Clay County Sheriff's Office. And on my left is Chief Musco, Green Cove City Police Office. We're all here today to talk to you about a matter that's pretty serious, not just in our nation, but here at home in Clay County and in every part of Clay County. First off, I'm Charlie Van Zant, your Superintendent of Schools. It's my honor to serve the 36,000 students and their families here in Clay County every day. We'd like to talk to you and just encourage our students. We have 36,000 students in 41 schools spread across 600 square miles of Clay County. 99% of these students come to the school every day. They do a great job. They do what their teachers and their administrators ask them to do. They conduct themselves well. They represent their families and their community well. We're excited about the strong families that we have in Clay County. Our employees in the school district, our teachers, our administrators, our support staff do a fabulous job of educating these kids, transporting them, feeding them every day. But those families, I'll come back to families a couple times in the next few minutes here. That's our strength in Clay County. That's what separates us from other communities, from other neighboring counties. That's why people move to Clay County, because they want to be part of this community. We take great pride in the culture and the community and the positive aspects that being a resident of Clay County bring with it. We as leaders in this community, myself representing the school system and these gentlemen in emergency management and law enforcement standing with me shoulder to shoulder today to talk to you about a couple of things that continue to be a stumbling block only for a few of our students, but it impacts all of us. It impacts every student in the system, and it impacts our community in great ways. So as you listen, I'm asking you as students, families, teachers, administrators, support staff to join us in helping drive home a few points to a couple of students that might make a bad decision. We don't want any student to make a bad decision first and foremost, and most of them don't. But I need to talk to you just for a moment about social media, email, text messaging. We live in a virtual world. There's no denying it. It's 2015. It's not 1985. It's a different world. Day in, day out, our students have a multitude of devices and social networks that they can log into, even if they don't have a device. I have two children myself. They're 9 and 12. We police up in my family what they're doing online. That's tough, because you know what? My 12-year-old knows more about my cell phone and how to work it than I do. That's something we're all plagued with. I'm constantly trying to educate myself on technology so that I can stay ahead of the power curve and one step ahead of my kid. And I had a great family, but I can tell you, our parents of my generation did not have to work as hard as I do and my wife do and all of you do with your students that are in our school system to stay ahead of the technology power curve. It's not spying on your kids to know what they're doing on social media. Just like our mothers and fathers would have washed our mouth out with soap if we said something inappropriate at the dinner table, you need to be watching what they're tweeting, Snapchatting, kicking, and if you don't know what this stuff means, ask your kids. They will tell you, okay? This is not top secret information, but you need to be guiding your student along if you allow them to have this social media. If you don't allow them to have this social media, they probably have it anyway. I would check. I would talk to their friends. I would keep an open line of communication with your students. Here's the downside to all this. When we don't know what our friends are doing, you as students, you see your friends every day. You know when they're having a rough day. You know when they're frustrated. You know when they're gritting their teeth, and they might say something like, I want to shoot somebody, or I'm going to go blow something up. Help calm them down. Parents, in addition to just knowing what your kids are doing on social media, I would just encourage you, if you don't already, I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent, but you got to talk to them. You got to know what's going on with them. Any little idle word like that, once it's posted on Facebook, tweeted, shot in a text message to their friends, at that point, they've actually committed a misdemeanor under Florida law. They've broken school board policy. They can break school board policy by threatening their peers and their school from home, in their bedroom. There's no separation. They don't have to be on the 45-acre campus of one of our schools to break a school board policy or break a Florida law. So that's important to help police up your friends, to police up your own children, and talk to them about this, because once that happens, our school system, which is doing a phenomenal job of educating students in Clay County, our goal is to graduate students in Clay County. In fact, our graduation rate, we're getting really good at this. It's up about 7% in the past 3 years. We're outpassing the state average 4-1 in a rising graduation rate. So if you hang in there with us, you study, you can behave yourself on social media and on your phones, you can graduate. We will help get you across that finish line, which is what we all want for our students. That's what we as students want for our friends and each other. But we really have to partner and watch each other out. This is a big world. You can't walk through it alone. So I'm asking you as students, parents, families, teachers, please help us keep an eye on each other and some accountability, because if one of those students falters and slips, they threaten to harm others, they threaten to harm the school in any way with firearms, with explosives, all that goes beyond our level to say, well, it was just a good kid that made a bad decision. At that point, there are consequences that are very severe. Either of those consequences I mentioned in Clay County School Board policy will get you expelled. They're level 4 offenses in your student code of conduct. So no longer can you stay at the high school you're at and graduate with your friends. You won't be in a Clay County school anymore. That's just the way it is. I wish it wasn't so severe, but it is. And it doesn't take a long, drawn-out, methodical, well-thought-out approach to doing it. It can just be an angry young person just living in the minute, says the wrong thing, but once they blast it out, once they hit send, post, tweet, it's out there, and it's like toothpaste. You can't get it back in the tube. So please watch out for your friends. Please watch out for your students. Help us watch out for each other. And even worse than that, even worse than maybe not getting to graduate with your friends from the high school where you're a Bronco or you're an Indian or a Blue Devil, and all these great mascots, we're tied to our schools, we're proud of our schools. Then you have to deal with the guys standing behind me and a bunch of lawyers and a judge, and there's all kinds of consequences legally, and the gentlemen behind me and the agencies they represent, we're all united in this. The consequence is going to be very severe. A threat to our schools or your fellow students will be met with the fullest extent of Florida law. And that's just nowhere any of us need to go. The consequences are so severe. The incidents are few. I just can't even reiterate enough. 36,000 students, 99+% of them every day are doing the right thing, representing their families well, representing their schools well. But I just beg you, I ask you to please watch out for each other. Parents, know what your kids are doing online, know what they have access to in devices, and continue to make Clay County a great place to go to school, to work, to live, to play sports. And thank you so much for your time. I know I speak for the group, this distinguished group of gentlemen behind me. Chose to just let me talk, and they wanted to stand here and look good, and I appreciate that unified effort. So please just help us, help your students, if you are a student, help your fellow students get across that graduation line, which is what we're all coming to school every day for. Thank you so much, and God bless.